Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Tea Time with me, Darius Anucausaks. Today's the 9th of July 2019, so welcome everyone. Welcome to this Tuesday's afternoon session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts that we looked at this morning. But as always, before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so also just a very quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel. As always, you can go here and subscribe to our videos that we produce on a daily basis, and yep, this would help you not to miss any of our upcoming videos as well. So as always, yep, feel free to check us out here. Also check us out on our website, especially our research section here, where you can go and have a look at different analysis that we do on a daily basis. So yep, I believe that this could be useful. But for now, let's jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the DAX30, so the German index. As you can see, it managed to break this upside support line, this short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low of the 3rd of June, but the way it broke it, is with a nice gap here to the downside. And also when I was covering DAX previously, I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this level right here near the 12,436.35 zone. Basically, a nice good drop below this could potentially open the path towards further declines. Now, looking at this right now, of course, this is not really looking good here for DAX. We can see that the index is now dropping below the these highs here, the high of the 3rd of May and the high of the 20th of June. So the next target for us could be here near the 12,190 zone, so marked by the low of the 26th of June. So keep your eyes on this one. For now, like I said, it is looking somewhat more bearish than bullish, but we'll be very careful. Especially what you can do here is, looking at this 4-hour chart, you could keep an eye on the 50 EMA here, shown as the red line, and basically if we see a nice good clear move and a clear move below this, and if we see, let's say, at least the 4-hour candle staying below this, then in a way there could be more chances for this one to slide further down. Of course, we do have some obstacles here underneath, but the main kind of more important target for us is around here, around this 12,190 zone. So yep, keep your eyes on that one, guys. Jumping into another index very quickly, and that's FTSE100. Now, I talked about this one this morning, and basically I was telling you guys to keep a close eye on this upside support line. So unlike DAX, it still is holding above its upside line. Mainly, of course, is holding due to the weaker pound today. So that's why, guys, for now, just continue observing this one. We're going to remain neutral on this one. We need to see a clear drop below the 7,497 level before we could aim for lower areas. Of course, as you understood, this way, if we see a drop below this level, then yep, the index, of course, would be already placed below this upside line, and to be honest, it could have more chances to drift further down. And the target that we've got here is around the 7,375 level, which in a way also could coincide with the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart. So that's why for now we're just observing this one. If this upside line continues to hold, if we see a nice rebound from it and a push back up here, back above the 7,550 zone, then in a way what we could do here is target these recent highs near the 7,620 zone, and slightly above that we do have that 7,635 area as well, which previously, and let me just drag this one back here, back into history, previously here around the August time, the end of August, and or to be more specific, around the 28th of August, and it acted as a nice area of resistance. So that's why, of course, it looks quite tempting here, but first we need to see that nice good rebound from this upside line and a push back above this 7,550 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. Jumping into one commodity, and should I say one black liquid, which is Brent oil here, and basically looking at this short-term picture, you can see that we are trading within this nice rising channel formation here, but we're keeping a close eye on some of these key resistance and support levels. So in a way, what we're going to do here is, overall, you can see that the commodities kind of it has been sliding. It's kind of moving lower, but that said, I mean, on around the beginning of June, it had nice, it found good support near slightly below the 60s, the psychological 60 mark, and kind of retraced back to the upside. So in a way, what we could also draw here is a nice downside resistance line. This a bit of a tentative one, but still something to kind of keep an eye on. And in a way, you can see that we're quite distanced in the, or should I say, Brent oil is quite distanced itself from this downside line. And in a way, if this continues, let's say, to respect this little short-term upside channel here, then yep, in a way we could see this one crawling back up here towards this downside resistance line. So for now, basically from the short-term perspective, what you could do here is just remain cautious and wait for a possible push above the 65.10 zone. This way, as you can see, this way the commodity would be back above its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, so it could be a nice positive sign here, and would confirm a forthcoming higher high on this shorter time frame. And then yep, we could see this one climbing further up here, maybe testing the upper side of this rising channel formation. In terms of the downside, if the lower side of the channel breaks and we see a slide below the 63.74-75 zone, this is where we could start considering the downside again. Initially we will aim for the 62.90, but then the next potential target could be around the 62.06. So keep your eyes on that one, and like I said, for now probably you could in a way wait this one out and just monitor these key areas of support and resistance. So EURGBP, now this is probably taking the spotlight today. As I've mentioned right now when I was covering FTSE, that the pound is well, slightly on the weaker side, and you can see by how much, especially against the euro here. So this barrier right here, the 0.8980, has been broken, and this is the level that I was talking about. And basically we had a nice pop here to the upside. It managed to travel all the way higher here and managed to reach, and let me just adjust a level here very quickly. So it managed to reach the long awaited psychological 0.90 level, and then as you can see, it kind of retraced back down, and now it's slightly drifting lower. Now, of course, we're going to keep a close eye on the 0.8980, because just let's say in case this decides to reverse back down and closes the daily candle below the 0.8980, now this is where it could become very, very interesting. We may see this one correcting back down a little bit again, but for now, of course, until it's kind of until it's above this 0.8980, we will remain somewhat positive. We will continue targeting slightly higher areas, but then again, we'll do that very, very carefully. So for now, guys, like I said, keep your eyes on the 0.8980. If we see the daily candle closing below this, then yep, in a way, it could increase the chances for EURGBP to travel back down again. But if this reverses again and travels closer to the 0.90 level, in a way, there could be a good chance for this one to push further up here tomorrow, and it will be very interesting to see where the next potential area, where the next good potential area of resistance could be here for EURGBP. For now, in a way, if we go back into history here and jump into a daily chart, you can see that these levels, the 0.90 levels, last time was tested around January time this year. So in a way, if we start taking some of these highs that we saw here, let's say on the 11th of January, and one of which could be this one right here near the 0.9062. This could be a potential area of resistance for EURGBP, but that's of course if it stays, if the daily candle stays here today above the 0.8980 and let's say closer to the psychological 0.90 level. So keep your eyes on that one. Let's see how this is going to play out, and very interesting pair, I would say. Jumping into GBPUSD very quickly, so you probably understood what's happening here. So yep, it took a hit, and as you can see, it took a dive below this area of support near the 1.2480. It traveled all the way here lower and tested the 1.2440. Now I talked about this level previously in one of my videos, and just to show you what that level was here in the past, that's basically near the lows of 2nd of January. So very strong area of support got tested today. It also kind of almost matched with the S3. So you can see that we did have a nice perfect test of today's S3 from the pivot point, and now the pair is reversing slightly back up. Now again, it's going to be very interesting to see if it actually manages to stay here. If it stays below the if it stays below these 1.2480, well, I mean, there could be some more downside, but if it travels back above this is going to be our little neutral territory. Of course, until it's trading below this downside resistance line, yep, we kind of need to stay bearish. But we, like I said, this area, if the rate suddenly travels back up to the 1.2480, this is going to be our little neutral territory, because if this decides to suddenly break this this downside resistance line, in a way we could target slightly higher areas again. We could aim for the areas slightly above the 1.25 zone, but again, for now this is too early to talk about those. For now, let's see where this is going to end today, and how this is going to finish the daily candle. But what you could do definitely is watch this 1.2440 zone. If we see a drop below this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could then target the area around the 1.24 or even slightly below that. So for now, keep your eyes on these two levels. So basically on the downside, keep your eyes on the 1.2440. On the upside, keep your eyes on the 1.2480, and that's for today, because still, let's say, in order to kind of consider higher areas, we need to see that nice good clear break above this downside resistance line. A bit of a tentative downside line, but nevertheless we'll keep a close eye on it. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's USDCAD. This is well, this is slightly stuck, but of course overall we're still trading below this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 31st of May. But what's interesting here is that yes, we are the pair is quite distant, it's quite far from this downside line, but in a way it started kind of now moving in a sideways manner. The only thing is, what I'm afraid here, so that it wouldn't happen, that this pair will continue moving sideways. Eventually, by just moving sideways, eventually it'll just get close to this downside resistance line, and of course, to be honest, it wouldn't be quite exciting to trade this one, but if it moves like that. But of course, if it's a range trader's paradise, probably this one is. So for now, what you could do here is keep an eye on some of these levels. So basically on the upside, keep an eye on the 1.3145, and by the upside I mean the very short-term upside, because still the upside could be limited due to this downside resistance line. And in terms of the downside here, well, a nice good drop below the 1.3030. I've mentioned about this, I've talked about this level previously in one of my previous videos, and basically if we see a drop below this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and we could see this one sliding further down towards initially towards the psychological 130 level, but then maybe further down. So for now, keep your eyes on these two levels. Excuse me. Okay guys, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for sticking around and watching until the end. If you want to join me tomorrow morning, as always, in my Traders Espresso, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time. For now, I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.